Tonight, you'll hear 3 stories of people who thought they were alone at home. They weren't. Welcome to DUSKVEIL. The night was cold and unusually quiet. Rain slid down the rooftops of the suburban homes, drawing long, trembling lines across the fog. It felt as if the whole street had fallen asleep. No cars, no footsteps, not even distant sounds from the city. Everything was wrapped in a thick, heavy stillness. In the center of this silent neighborhood stood Emma's house, warm, familiar, ordinary. But tonight, for the first time in a long while, she was completely alone inside it, and the silence that usually comforted her now felt deeper, heavier, as though the house itself was listening. Emma settled on the living room couch, wrapped in a blanket, letting the soft glow of the TV fill the dark room. The sound was muted. She liked it that way at night. Just a quiet house, a flickering screen, and her phone in her hand. Every now and then, a stronger tap of rain hit the window, almost like fingers brushing against the glass. She tried not to think about it. Her parents were gone for the weekend, and she finally had the place to herself, or at least that's what she thought. Her phone buzzed softly, and Emma glanced down without much interest until she read the notification. It said, "Unrecognized movement in living room." She froze. For a moment, she didn't move at all. Slowly, she lifted her eyes and scanned the room. Everything was still. No shadows shifting, no movement in the corners. Nothing unusual, probably just a glitch, she told herself. But that small, uneasy feeling had already taken root, like the house was watching her back. Emma opened the smart home app and tapped on the living room camera. The screen shifted into green night vision, filling the room with a cold, lifeless glow through the grain. She could see herself, a small figure curled under a blanket, and nothing else. The room looked different through the lens, empty, hollow, like she was viewing her life from the eyes of something unfamiliar. The camera flickered once, trying to adjust, then settled back into silence. Emma let out a slow breath and closed the app, but the uneasiness didn't fade. She had almost forgotten about the alert when a soft, mechanical voice echoed from the hallway speaker. "Welcome home, Daniel." Emma sat upright, heart thudding once, hard. She knew every profile stored in the smart home system. There was no Daniel, and the system never greeted someone it didn't recognize. She rose slowly from the couch, listening, waiting, but the hallway was silent. Then, a sound so soft, she almost missed it. A click, the unmistakable sound of the front door unlocking. Emma's breath caught. The system wasn't supposed to open the door, not on its own. She checked the entry camera. The porch was empty, rain, fog, no one standing outside. But the system chimed again, cheerful as ever. Entry approved. Emma didn't move. Something had just been let inside, but she couldn't see what. She opened the hallway camera. The screen flickered. Lines of static dragged across the image, bending and tearing it at the edges. At first, she thought it was just another glitch, but then, something began to take shape. In the darkest end of the corridor, a shape that wasn't supposed to be there. Not a shadow, not a person, but something tall, too tall, with soft, blurred edges, like it was made from the darkness itself. It didn't walk. It drifted forward, slow and silent, as though deciding how real it wanted to be. Emma's throat tightened. She couldn't look away. The figure moved a little closer, flickered, then reappeared even nearer, as if the camera couldn't keep up with it. The hallway felt suffocatingly narrow, and the figure felt terribly, impossibly aware of her watching. Her phone vibrated again. A new system message appeared on the screen. Occupants detected. Two people, but only one was supposed to be here. The camera glitched once more, and the silhouette in the hallway slowly turned its head toward the lens. It had no face, only a shifting outline, like the camera was shaking. Just from trying to look at it, Emma felt as if the figure was staring directly at her. Through the screen, the image tore apart again, horizontal lines sliding across the display. Then everything froze, just for a moment, and the feed returned with a new message. New recognized face added, EMMA, under it. Status replaced. Emma stared at the words, feeling the cold spread through her chest. She lifted her eyes toward the hallway camera, and what she saw drained all the warmth from her body. The couch where she had been sitting just seconds ago was now empty, completely empty. And in that same spot, the dark figure stood, motionless, as if it had taken her place. Mia wasn't nervous when she agreed to sit. It was just one night, a quiet street, and a friendly family who needed someone to feed their cat while they were away. The house was bigger inside than she expected. Long hallways, too many doors, and a stillness that felt a little heavier than she liked. Before leaving, her friend's sister gave only one strange instruction. Don't worry about the nursery. We're not using it yet. Just keep the door closed. Mia didn't think much of it, but as she set her bag down and listened to the house settle behind her, something in that sentence echoed in her mind. By midnight, the house felt calmer. The cat slept curled on the back of the sofa, twitching its tail in dreams. Mia turned on the TV for background noise, letting the soft glow chase away the shadows. That's when she noticed it, the baby monitor, sitting on the coffee table. She didn't remember it being there. A tiny green light blinked steadily on its frame, as if something on the other end was awake. Curiosity won. Mia picked up the monitor, and the screen flickered on with a faint hiss. There it was, a nursery, a crib, soft wallpaper, a mobile slowly turning above the empty bed. Mia's eyebrows pulled together. They said the nursery wasn't being used. Before she could process it, a sound drifted through the speaker, a tiny, soft, wet cough, then the quiet exhale of a sleeping infant. The kind of sound no empty room should make. Mia turned the monitor off immediately, her pulse quickening. She set it back on the table. 2 minutes passed. The TV murmured softly. The cat slept until its eyes snapped open, ears pinned back toward the monitor, and then, click, the monitor turned itself back on. The screen glowed eerily in the dim room, as though it had something new it wanted her to see. On the screen, the camera angle was lower now, closer to the crib. The mattress creaked softly, as if someone or something was slowly pressing down on it. Mia swallowed hard and glanced toward the hallway. At the very end of it stood the nursery door, pale in the darkness. The air grew colder. With each step she took toward it, she pressed her ear against the wood. Silence. No baby, no breathing, no creaking mattress. She turned the knob and pushed the door open. The room was empty. No crib, no wallpaper, nothing but a dusty floor and bare walls. Her phone buzzed in her pocket, a notification. Baby monitor, reconnecting. Mia walked back into the living room and froze. The monitor no longer showed the nursery. Now it displayed her guest bedroom, the cheap blanket, the crooked lamp, and something else. A dark shape, standing beside the bed, leaning just slightly over the pillow, where her head would be. The static grew louder, building like a soft storm. Inside the tiny speaker, Mia stared at the screen, unable to breathe. Then, through the static, a whisper, quiet, close, too close. Don't look. The words crawled out of the monitor, like something alive, and at that exact moment, Mia felt a cold breath brush the back of her neck. Her body locked in place. The air behind her felt thick, weighted. She didn't dare turn around. The monitor flickered again, and for a split second, the camera caught something else. A pale hand, reaching toward her shoulder from behind. Mia's breath hitched, and the screen went black. Ethan always hated how quiet the apartment became after midnight. The building was old, tall, and narrow, wedged between a pharmacy and a closed cafe. At night, the city's noise stayed far below, softened by thick curtains and double-glazed windows. His parents were on a red-eye flight, still hours away from landing. Ethan told himself the night would pass quickly, but as he lay in bed, scrolling through his phone, a familiar uneasiness crept into the room, the kind that made the shadows feel just a little too still. At 12:47 a.m., he heard it, the sound of keys sliding into the lock. Ethan sat upright in bed, one headphone slipping off his ear. The deadbolt turned, slow, deliberate. Then the door opened, and the soft drag of a bag brushed across the hallway floor. Relief washed over him. "Already," he called out. "I thought your flight was later." But no one answered. Ethan checked his phone, expecting a text that said, "We're home." Instead, he saw, "Boarding now. We'll text when we land." His thumb trembled slightly. If they were boarding, then who had just opened the front door? The footsteps in the hallway stopped. Right outside his bedroom, a soft shift of weight. Someone, or something, was standing on the other side. "Mom," he called out, softer this time. And from behind the door, muffled by the wood, came her voice. "Hey, sweetheart, we're home. You can open the door." Ethan froze. It sounded like her, almost, but something was wrong with the tone. Too smooth, too calm, like someone practicing a voice they didn't fully understand. His phone buzzed again. Another text. "They just announced a delay. We're still at the gate. You okay?" Ethan slowly opened the home security app. The hallway camera loaded, in pale night vision. Empty hallway, closed door. No bags, no figures, nothing that could have made the sounds he heard. But then the feed glitched, a quick tear of pixels, and for less than a second, something tall flickered in front of his bedroom door. Too tall, too thin. Then it was gone. Ethan couldn't breathe. The silence pressed against him from every corner of the room. Then the door handle twitched once, then turned slowly by itself. His heart pounded so loudly, he thought whatever was on the other side could hear it. He leaped from the bed and shoved his dresser against the door, the wood vibrating from the pressure of something pushing back. His phone vibrated again, but this time the notifications came from the security system. Front door camera, signal lost. Hallway camera, signal lost. Living room camera, signal lost. One by one, the feeds disappeared, as if something was walking through the apartment, turning them off. As it passed, the room dimmed, the air growing colder, heavier. Ethan stepped back from the door, clutching his phone, searching for anything familiar. His eyes drifted toward the window, to the dark glass, reflecting his trembling silhouette. At first, he thought it was just his reflection, but then, something behind him began to rise. A tall shadow, unfolding from the floor, like it had been lying there the entire time. Its shape stretched upward, towering over him in the reflection. Even though the room behind him looked completely empty, Ethan's breath caught in his throat. The shadow leaned closer, and the screen cut to black.
A DUSKVEIL production.
If you enjoy this story, stay with us. There are more nights and more voices waiting to be heard. Subscribe to DUSKVEIL if you dare.